When Batman the Caped Crusader was announced in 2021 during DC FanDome, yeah, remember DC FanDome? Remember those? Anyway, I was really interested in the project, especially after learning that Bruce Timm was going to be attached. Remember, Bruce Timm is one of the fantastic minds that gave us the gold standard in animated Batman, the animated series, which ran from 1992 through 1995 for 4 seasons. He also carried those stories on in the new Batman Adventures, Batman Beyond, Justice League, and its spinoff, Justice League Unlimited. So the trust in the style was already there, except this time with the Caped Crusader, we were promised a grittier take on the animated series. There'd be more stakes for all the characters. The story would be told in a more mature manner. And I was all for it. But in my old age, I completely forgot about it because you know that they are shit for keeping us informed of what's going on in the DC animated universe. Meanwhile, while I was forgetting, Tim and company got to work compiling a dream team of writers, producers, and lovers of the bat. Fast forward to 2023 with Max passing on the series, and they passed it on to Amazon Prime because if there's one thing Warner Brothers Discovery is going to do, it's going to be fumbling the bag. But anywho, Prime said yes, to please. And here we are with season 1 in the bag and the promise of a season 2. But like I said, I forgot about this series while it was stuck in development hell until I was twiddling my thumbs waiting for something, anything, to release and capture my attention. Whammo! Imagine my excitement when the announcement came across the airwaves that Cape Crusader was coming on August 1st to Amazon Prime. I had no idea then how these 10 episodes not only captured my attention, but also my heart in the approach they took in storytelling. This isn't your grandkids' Batman, y'all. And I can say grandkids because I'm a grandmother. This is not for the grandkids. In fact, it's my father's Batman. The style, while reminiscent of the animated series, is not a direct copy. There are hints of familiar animation, but this series doesn't attempt to simply glide by on our nostalgia for that era of the Caped Crusader. In fact, it takes us way back to an utterly underexplored era, the Golden Age. In this iteration, we find ourselves in a darker, grittier Gotham, in a darker, grittier time. We're at the beginning of Batman's vigilante days when the police were crooked and the citizens lived in fear of the violence that had become synonymous with Gotham. The year is unclear, but based on the slang, the wardrobes, the vehicles, the lack of technology, one would place it in around the 1940s or 1950s, making this more my father's Batman. Bruce Wayne is still the billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, but I think this series does more to separate him from Batman. Bruce is the man about town with a bigger personality than I'm used to, but that works when you realize that Bruce is the alter ego. Even when he's alone with Alfred, he speaks in the Batman voice. That is who he truly is. In fact, it's only when he's among the citizens of Gotham that he uses the Bruce voice. The moody, stunted delivery from Hamish Linklater, who voices Bruce slash Batman, is an intentional choice that a lot of people are complaining about the lack of depth of this character as far as his emotional range. This Batman's emotions are stuck at a time when he lost his parents in Crime Alley all those years ago. He's definitely a sociopath in that he knows how to emulate feelings and emotions, but he doesn't really have them. He doesn't experience that range of emotions or feelings. The character, in fact, has always been sociopathic, but we've romanticized the heroism of Batman over the years. This series isn't afraid to embrace that aspect of his flawed personality. I fell in love with this film noir feel that we get, and those aspects show us the detective Batman. The Batman who is 10 steps ahead of the rogues he regularly faces might come in later season, but this Batman operates from being one step behind for most of the episodes, sometimes leaning on the connections he's made in law enforcement and relying heavily on Alfred to help him along. Because this is the early phase of his career in the cowl, his association with Gordon Montoya is under development. That creates opportunities to spend a lot of time with the supporting cast. We learn their motivations, their philosophies, their approach to making Gotham safer for everyone. If you remember, I did a video about Warner Brothers Discovery pulling the plug on a live action series with a similar focus, and I'm so glad that we at least get to explore these themes and these ideas in this animated noir series. And while I recognize the aesthetic to be the 40s or the 50s, I imagine this fictional era to be almost utopic for the period. I say that because we have female attorneys like Barbara Gordon. We have female detectives like Montoya. Harleen Quinzel is an expert witness and highly regarded therapist. Oswalda Cobblepot is a formidable crime boss. Commissioner Gordon is the top cop and a black man. Montoya and Quinzel share a same sex kiss in public. These are things that would hardly be accepted in America at the time, but in this universe, nobody bats an eye. There are subtle hints of racism and sexism, but these microaggressions are normal even in today's society. In real life, the racism and sexism of the period would have been far more overt. So, in many ways, this fictional period was better than real life. Now, as effed up as we've seen things happen in this fictional period, let that last thought sink in. Finally, this series really works because it recognizes that the audience from 1992 is all grown up now. Similar to X-Men 97 from the Marvel side, the stories have also grown up. The heroes are extremely flawed. The villains are less cartoonish and more ruthless. The institutional corruption and violence are on full display. Characters die horrible deaths, and we see that. We see characters die in this series. The situations are more urgent, and sometimes the good guys don't get the save. This Batman began the journey being callous towards everyone, including Alfred. He was not nice to Alfred in the beginning, but he's also formed important alliances by the end of the season. And we did all of that in season one without meeting or mentioning his arch nemesis, the Joker. Overall, I think we should count ourselves lucky to have gotten Batman Caped Crusader, because if left up to the powers that be over at Warner, it would never have seen the light of day. What did this series make you feel? Drop your thoughts in the comments and like, subscribe, all that stuff. If you want to support my channel financially to help me continue making content, click join, or you can send a super thanks or send a donation to PayPal or Cash App. I appreciate you, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.